Welcome to LinguaFox, your shortcut to fluent speech. I'm Abbas Salahshour, and today's episode is for the language learners who have felt small while speaking English. For those who have gone silent in classrooms, hesitated in conversations, or carried a deep shame about not being good enough. This is not your typical language lesson. This is a mirror. We're going to talk about the real emotions behind learning English and, more importantly, the way out. Let's begin. The shame is real, and you're not crazy. In fact, many English learners feel stupid or embarrassed or like an idiot when they speak. You think it's about your grammar, your accent, your pronunciation, or your memory, but it goes deeper. It's about being seen and not feeling enough when that happens. Here's your first step. Name the emotion. Say it out loud. Say that I feel humiliated when I speak English. Not, I'm just shy. Not, I'm not in a mood. Say what it really is. Shame grows in darkness, but when you bring it into light, it loses power. You are not weak for feeling this way. You are real, and that's where growth begins. Because when you stop hiding that feeling, it stops controlling you. Some teachers talk about grammar. Others, the good ones I mean, talk about growth. But the ones who've lived through silence, who've been the quiet one in the classroom, we talk about healing. Not loudly, just meaningfully. And when someone teaches from the place where they once stood trembling, they no longer need to impress you. They just meet you fully, without fixing you. That's when students start to breathe again. The illusion of talent is killing your confidence. You're not slow. You are not broken. And fluency is not a gift. Most learners believe some people are just naturals, but that's a lie that's been sold to you. The truth? Fluency is built, not born. It's repetition. It's daily effort. It's you showing up again and again. Even 5 minutes a day matters. Compare yourself only to your past self, not to native speakers. In fact, when you stop chasing talent, you start building progress. If you've ever wished for someone to look you in the eye and say, "You are not behind, you're just not being taught right," then maybe now you've heard it. Not in a rush, not in a brochure, just human to human. Some classes make you chase after English. Others bring English toward you, slowly and carefully, until it fits your pace, your pulse, your real life, your busy schedule. You'll know the difference the moment you feel seen. Teachers who belittle you are not worth your time. Maybe a teacher once laughed at your mistake, or corrected you so harshly it made you never want to speak again. That's not tough love, that's trauma. Here's the truth. You deserve safety. You deserve respect. And if a teacher doesn't offer that, walk away. The best educators don't just correct your language, they protect your courage. They build your confidence. They identify your potentials and try to help you become the version of yourself you've never been before. Therefore, do not shrink to fit someone else's small mind. Your voice deserves better. Personally speaking, the quiet students, I believe, often carry the deepest thoughts. They just need a teacher who listens between the words. That kind of teacher doesn't raise their voice. They raise the room's trust level. If you've ever left a class feeling smaller, not smarter, know this. The best teachers won't let you walk out ashamed. They'll help you gather what's still whole in you and build from there. Speaking feels risky because it is. When you speak English, you're exposed, visible, vulnerable, and yes, people can hear your mistakes. That's scary. But the solution is not silence, it's practice in safe spaces. Say short sentences to yourself. Talk in the mirror. Whisper in your room. Record yourself while talking about a subject. Fluency doesn't begin with confidence, it begins with presence and practice. Speak, even if your voice shakes, because progress isn't loud, it's quiet, brave, and consistent. In some spaces, your pauses are seen as weakness. In others, they are protected, gently explored, and never judged. And once you've spoken in a place like that, you'll never forget how it felt. The real teachers? Ah, they don't push you into speaking. They walk beside you until your words don't need permission anymore. That's how trust teaches fluency long before grammar ever does. Why do you feel incompetent even when you're not? English can make smart people feel dumb. You might be sharp and articulate in your native tongue, but in English, you freeze. That doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're rewiring. Your brain is building new pathways. Pauses, blanks, slow speech, all part of the process. You're not in a dead end, you're in your silent phase. So read, listen, and observe. You're not failing, you're fermenting. Let that process happen. And be patient because it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. If someone had told you earlier that even confusion can be a sign of growth, would you have given yourself more peace? The best teachers don't hurry you through. They guide you while silence is still sacred. Because some voices are not born from confidence. They rise from compassion, from a space where your pause is honored, your pace is understood, and your effort is never mistaken for weakness. The energy drain is real. Respect it. Learning English feels exhausting sometimes, and there's a reason. This isn't just a hobby, it's a second job, a second identity. Your brain is working double time, maybe even full time, round the clock. Respect that. Give yourself permission to slow down. Deep learning is not fast learning. You don't have to prove anything. Rest is part of the method. In every classroom, there's one learner staring out the window, feeling tired, ashamed of being tired. But somewhere in the world, there's a guide who notices and simply says, "Let's go slower today." Not lazy, just aware. A thoughtful teacher won't just push you harder. They'll recognize your quiet limits and offer rhythm instead of rush. You won't need to hide your fatigue. You'll finally be allowed to learn whole. Why you get stuck mid-sentence. You start a sentence, then lose the word, then freeze, then blame yourself. Stop. That's not failure. That's human. Here's what you do. Use rescue phrases. Sorry, I forgot the word, but it means, or let me try again. Or let me put it this way. These aren't excuses. They are tools. You use them in your native language too, but you are mindless of that. Fluency is not about never getting stuck. It's about what you do next. The right learning environment doesn't punish stumbles. It uses them, builds from them, and sometimes the most powerful thing a teacher can do is to pause with you, without panic. That pause, unhurried and unafraid, is where healing begins. And sometimes the teacher who waits with you becomes the reason you don't quit the sentence or yourself. Shyness is a mask for fear. Here's how to unmask it. You say, "I'm shy," but what you often mean is, "I'm scared of judgment." English exposes you, makes you feel like a child again, like you have no control. So take control, privately. Talk to yourself in English, in the shower, on a walk, in a mirror. The world won't always be kind, so be kind to yourself first. Shyness fades when safety grows. Be your own safety. You've probably never had a space where mistakes were welcome guests, not intruders. But that space exists. Some of us build it quietly, some of us protect it with care. That's where the real language begins. And in such rooms, you won't be asked to be confident. You'll simply be safe enough to stop hiding. Slowly, your English will no longer sound borrowed. It'll sound like you. You are not broken. Your environment is. Are you struggling with English? Don't just blame your brain. Look around you. Stress, noise, no support, no input. These things matter. So create a world that helps you grow. Watch shows with subtitles in English. Speak voice notes to yourself. Listen while cooking. Listen while doing your homework. Listen while relaxing. Don't rely on motivation. Rely on design. Rely on planning. Rely on sticking to your schedule. Let your space fight for you, not against you. Sometimes the breakthrough isn't in doing more. It's in doing differently. Some voices don't grow louder, they grow deeper. When someone finally gives them the right kind of silence to echo in. The real work isn't just inside you, it's around you. And a wise guide doesn't just teach. They help you design a life where your English doesn't have to compete. It just belongs. The voice in your head is the final enemy. You're too old. You'll never be fluent. They're laughing at you. We've all heard it. But that voice, it's not truth. It's fear with a microphone. Talk back to it. Say, I'm learning. I'm improving. I will not go silent just to be safe. Confidence doesn't arrive. It is not given to you. It is built. You build it. One sentence, one lie, one mistake at a time. And sometimes the first brick in building that confidence is simply hearing someone say, you're not crazy, you're not alone, and no, you don't have to do this blindly anymore. That's when the shift happens. Not when a teacher promises fluency, but when they sit beside your fears like an old friend and say, let's learn with them, not in spite of them. Thank you so much for listening to the 15th episode of LinguaFox. If this episode spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Send it to someone who needs healing through language. Share it. Comment. Tell me what resonated. Shame grows in silence, but so does power. Once we speak it. You're not weak. You're not broken. You are becoming. And I am with you every step of the way. And that's for today's episode of LinguaFox, your shortcut to fluent speech.